Good evening. Tropical cyclone wind signal number 4 remains hoisted over 2 areas as Typhoon Ofel continues to threaten Babuyan Islands according to the State Weather Bureau. Based on Pag-asa's 5 p.m. bulletin on Thursday, November 14, signal number 4 remains hoisted over Babuyan Islands and the northern and eastern portions of mainland Cagayan, where significant to severe impacts from typhoon force winds are possible. Signal number 3 is raised over Batanes, the rest of Cagayan, the northern portion of Isabela, the northern portion of Apayao, and the northern portion of Ilocos Norte as storm force winds may bring moderate to significant impacts. 6 areas in northern Luzon are under signal number 2, where residents could expect minor to moderate impacts from gale force winds. Meanwhile, signal number 1 is up over 10 other Luzon areas as strong winds here may bring minimal to minor impacts. Ofel was last spotted in the vicinity of Gonzaga, Cagayan, packing maximum sustained winds of 165 kilometers per hour near the center and gustiness of up to 275 kilometers per hour. Pag-asa says Ofel will continue crossing the northeastern portion of mainland Luzon on Thursday afternoon, then continue moving northwestward and pass close or make landfall in the vicinity of Babuyan Islands Thursday evening. According to Pag-asa, Ofel has started to weaken due to increasing interaction with the landmass of Luzon. However, it notes that hazards on land and coastal waters may still be experienced in areas outside the landfall point and the forecast confidence zone. President Bongbong Marcos reiterates that the Philippines will not cooperate with the International Criminal Court if it were to investigate the previous administration anti-drug campaign. In an ambush interview on Thursday, November 14, Marcos was asked for a comment on former President Rodrigo Duterte's call for the ICC to immediately begin its probe into alleged crimes against humanity committed during his administration's war on drugs. In response, Marcos says the government is firm in its position not to cooperate with the ICC. The president also echoes Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin's statement that the government will neither object to nor move to block Duterte if he surrenders himself to the ICC. Bersamin said that if the ICC requests Interpol to issue a red notice for Duterte and send it to the Philippines, the government would not stand in the way. Asked whether the government will comply if the Interpol issues a red notice, Marcos said the country will fulfill its obligations.
We have obligations to Interpol, and we have to live up to those obligations. And we do not cooperate with the ICC. That is the position of this government. Hindi naman kami haharang doon sa mga ICC. Hindi lang kami tutulong. Ngunit kung pumapayag siya na makipag-usap siya o magpa-imbestiga siya sa ICC, nasa kanya yun. Wala nang kaming desisyon doon.
An Interpol red notice is a global alert to locate and provisionally detain a person awaiting extradition or similar legal action based on a valid arrest warrant from the requesting country. At the Quad Committee hearing on Wednesday, November 13, Duterte said the ICC is welcome to start its probe as soon as Thursday, adding that he might die before the probe even begins. At the ICC, several cases for the crime against humanity of mass murder were filed against Duterte and his police officials. Former President Rodrigo Duterte's punching gesture aimed at former Senator Laila de Lima during the House Quad Committee's 11th hearing on the brutal drug war seemed to be done in a playful manner, according to Quad Committee lead presiding officer Robert Ace Barbers. During the Quadcom hearing on Wednesday, November 13, the former president was seen raising a fist at de Lima after she claimed Duterte was lying about not knowing her. In an online interview on Thursday, November 14, Barbers believes Duterte's gestures against de Lima seemed playful, adding that the former president's gestures and statements have humor to it. Barbers also says if it were a serious attempt to strike de Lima, it was prevented because everyone was following the rules. De Lima earlier Thursday said she was unfazed by what she describes as Duterte's violent gesture against her, adding that the former president dug his own grave at the Quadcom hearing. Duterte made his first appearance on Wednesday at the House Quad Committee probe into the alleged extrajudicial killings during his administration's anti-drug campaign. De Lima has been a longtime critic of Duterte, and she spent 7 years in jail on drug charges initiated by the Duterte administration. The Philippine National Police is standing by its statement that former President Rodrigo Duterte's pledge to support officers during his brutal war on drugs was supposedly not fully realized. In a press briefing on Thursday, November 14, PNP spokesperson Brigadier General Jean Fajardo says Duterte's remarks are within his rights, but points out that records don't lie.
Kakapatan po ng ating dating Pangulo sa mga kanyang pananalita, but the records will not lie po. Mahigit 1,000 po ang naapektuhan nito pong at ang kampanya against sa illegal drugs. Mahigit 300 po ang namatay, 975, the latest count po ang nasugatan. Aside from that, ay mahigit 300 po yung may mga hinarap na kaso, may mga na-dismiss po. And again, like I said, may mga na-convict po. This is not only the statements of our Chief PNP, this is the records na nandun po sa PNP.
Duterte previously assured policemen that he would claim responsibility if they faced legal and administrative challenges for their roles in the anti-drug campaign. However, in a press release on Sunday, November 10, PNP Chief General Romel Marbil said officers faced cases largely on their own, adding that there was no official record that Duterte followed through with his commitments. According to Marbil, at least 300 officers were killed and 900 were injured in the line of duty under Duterte's watch. Fajardo, during the briefing, explains that Marbil's statements were backed by data from the Directorate for Personnel and Records Management and the Directorate for Investigation and Detective Management. On Wednesday, November 13, the former president made his first appearance during the House of Representatives Quad Committee inquiry into his bloody campaign against drugs. Quadcom co-chair Dan Fernandez pressed Duterte by citing Marbil's statement, but the former president told lawmakers not to listen to the PNP chief. Senator Risa Ontiveros is seeking a probe into the recent spate of unauthorized transactions, scams, and other irregularities involving mobile financial services. Her proposed inquiry is contained in Senate Resolution number 1234, filed on Wednesday, November 13. In a statement on Thursday, November 14, Ontiveros says actions needs to be taken as Filipinos fall victims to scams and seem to have no one to turn to for help in recovering their stolen money. Ontiveros adds that a system that enhances regulatory oversight over the financial technology sector must be implemented. Although there are existing rules and regulations governing the financial technology sector, Ontiveros says there is no legislative framework yet in place to ensure stability and transparency, build public trust, and promote inclusion vis-a-vis this class of services. According to Ontiveros, GCash alone has an estimated 76 million users who posted 6 trillion peso transactions in 2022. Last weekend, users of the country's leading mobile wallet reported unauthorized transactions with 1,000 or 2,000 pesos being deducted from their accounts while they were sleeping. The money was reportedly transferred to accounts connected to unknown numbers. In a statement, GCash reported that it completed the necessary wallet adjustments for its affected users. To prevent similar incidents in the future, GCash committed to enhancing its systems and procedures and continue safeguarding all transactions. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Zaharian Sarao, follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net.